Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. We're taking a look at a miniature dolmen, and I actually kind of have to be careful of this whole tree right here. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of that. I feel safer now. You guys can see this dolmen here with its mouth. It's a painting on a stone, and I wish I could move it around a little bit, but I can't because it's dug into the ground with its little ceremonial stones around it. I could dig in a little deeper to find the other ones, but I'm hoping that you guys can see the painting right there. And normally there's a bird on the head, but there's probably another figure or an image. I'm seeing actually in just the orange section, the mouth, the nose, and the two eyes. You guys can see there's little paintings of humans on these stones, guys. And we're gonna take a quick look at this miniature dolmen or Karen stone, I guess you could call them sometimes. It's got paint on the end here for the mammoth image, from what I believe is the mammoth image there. You can see how there's the human silhouette. See how the eye, the nose, and the mouth is sticking out with the chin, how the cheek is represented, the jawline right here. And if you're just looking at the face with the eye, of course, right here, you can see how the rest of this is a hat. You see how the hat is separated, and you can look at the colors. You can see how the colors are done for the hat that comes all the way back, covered up the eye there just a little bit. But you guys can see the face, how it's a different color. See this orange color, and then you can see the granite color done. Looking on the left-hand side, we see the pokey nose and the lips of a big nose, big chin, again with some kind of headdress on. And you guys got to remember, this stuff is super old, right? So it's not going to look like what you guys might suspect art to look like. This is ancient American art, and for the longest time, we just called these things rocks. We didn't know any better, but since now we all have cell phones, and we can all share and collaborate with each other. We're finding all these amazing places. Guys, if you don't know about the Valley of the Giants, if you don't know about all the other ancient American sites that are around, I urge you guys to check out a playlist that I put together that shows all these places. And it has a few good people who tried to share a lot about ancient America. But this entire creek right here, guys, is really neat. The way that they did it, they made it into an S the whole way down and the whole way up. And the entire creek is lined with these stones, as you guys can see, sometimes in a row. As the creek was built, this is a canal. It was completely made by the ancient people. And this is the place where we have found quite a few of the artifacts that we study. Guys, if you look into the sun, you can see these exaggerated crests on these birds. You're also going to see little human silhouettes poking out in every direction. We can take a look at this one right here. You can see, just looking at it from far away, it has the recessed black beak. But as we get closer and looking closer onto the stone, you can see there's actually a line here where there's a recessed beak. See how sharp that corner is? And you can see the eye right here, right? For those of you guys who are able to see the art, I want you guys to look at the colors and look at the interior of the stones too. You guys are going to start to see a whole lot more than other people can see because you've been studying it. And that's the way this art is. It takes a while to learn it. And once we learn it, we see a whole lot more than we could ever expect. I'm still learning, and I've been doing it for 2.5 years now. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few more together, folks. There's some really great ones sitting in this creek here, and as you can see, my voice is getting a little bit better. What we'll do is we'll try to look for the most defined ones. Here's a giant bird sticking in the ground here, I can see. And we always say recessed beak, guys. That's what this is. And we've actually looked at this one before. It's a big plaquette of a bird with its huge crest on it. And it's also a human image too, of course. But if you guys want to see the human image, we can poke the nose out there. Let's get it to some light. There you go. So, I mean, this is ancient American stuff, guys. We kind of just looked at this stuff as rocks before. I know I did. Who would have ever thought, right? But now that you look at it through, the eyes of, what do we have in America, right? We have birdmen. And what do we have here, right? We have a statue of a person with a very long bird beak, right? So, I'm really excited to have the opportunity and probably the biggest chance of anyone in the world right now to be able to share this and to be able to get it recognized. Because I don't think anyone else has what we have here in North Carolina. They don't have these types of artifacts in such abundance. It's impossible, right? I can't make this stuff up, guys. Can't make it up. This thing was very light. It almost feels like a pottery. Obviously, it's some type of arrow sharpening or stone sharpening tool. I don't know what the heck it is. But, I always find these incredible ones and then I just put them down. But here we have a really interesting face here. You guys can see. So, why are all the faces on the rocks, right? That's all I want to know. Why'd they do it? Why'd they put these weird faces on these rocks? Let's take a look over here. All right. You guys are probably seeing it. I'm not able to see it really well. I can see the statue of the woman here. Look at this. And of course the bird beak on the bottom where my palm is, you guys can see. So we can see the bird here, right? Facing to the right. And you can see how the bird beak is done and see how the eye is done. It's really pretty. See how the belly is done and the wing. I'm trying to get the light perfect for us. There we go. I want you to be able to see the detail for the eye there, if we can. And the wing. You guys see how it is just a bird laying down, right? Every single stone here is one of those. Super neat. Let's go ahead and put this with the other one. I'm going to try to make a pile because I tell you guys, I find some of the coolest ones and then I just put them down and I forget where they're at sometimes. So we're looking at the silhouettes here. There's going to be a lot on this one. It's a really beautiful one. And I don't think I have to point it out, but I'll kind of just point them out just a little bit here. Look at this on the outside. Look at all that. Hold on, I can see it, but I have to flip it back over. I had to get it into the light here. We're looking at the right side profile here, if I can get it correct. So you guys see where the eye carving is? Right here, in this spot. See the little holes and things in it? Right here. Watch when I tilt it. You can see how that eye becomes perfect. You see how you can see into it now and you see the details for it? Let me zoom in on it so you guys can see it. You see how it looks like the perfect eye? And when we get it really far, now you're gonna see some looking right at you as well. You're gonna see one right here with the eye, the nose, and the mouth down here. You're gonna see small little silhouettes down here at the bottom. You're going to see them start to poke out up here on the top, with this being the nose. We're going to go ahead and flip it over to this way, and we're going to start to see maybe looks like hominid or monkey face. You can see both the eyes a lot of times with the hominids. Oh man, I know you guys are going to be able to see a whole lot more than I am right at this moment, but look at all different places even that I'm not talking about, because I can't see them all, but I can see a lot of them, and I know that you guys can too. This is a very special large gateway example, and it has some beautiful paintwork done on it. Let's go ahead and flip it over to the completely black or opaque side. And that is what these gateways always have on them. You can see still some of the red stuff that's put onto it. This is some of the surrounding lithics. Oftentimes there's little arrowheads and things in here, and also little green stones. They were really into the green. And here it looks like there's actually a lot of this red stuff, which is weird. Don't often see that. But really a pretty piece. And on this side here, we'll start to see is a very classic, common, like a hominid woman. And we discuss it a little bit in the chat, and I don't talk about it too much on the you know, like here in person, but it's very interesting to see hominids and humans together on this. Now the art here is mainly humans, and the hominids seem to be like characters, but I've seen other members' videos and artifact submissions that they've sent me in the email, and in those you can tell that some of them are actually completely all hominid. They're just every person, every face on it is a hominid person, which of course leads me to believe that hominids made it. It wasn't made by humans, right? And I believe that, yeah, I can see, I don't believe it, I've seen it, you know, that we shared this art. This is something that we had in common, and we know that we lived together. But the goose head with the recessed beak there, and of course you can see the spot for the eye, and you can always tell the goose because of the curve, right? Sorry, I'll fix our focus there. Beautiful goose. And some of these are a lot harder to see, but the goose here, this little goose head, will turn into usually a face this way and then different directions. This guy's a little muddy, so this is a very old common style that we've gone over this one quite a few times, and it's a whole different rock, you know, but we've gone over it because it kind of repeats over and over again. Oh geez, I wish I could get this better cleaned off for us. You guys can see the beautiful carving for the eye there, and how there's another eye on the headdress. Think of like Egyptian or Sumerian stuff. It's really weird. And I kind of wish we could have this cleaned off a little more, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because it's all covered in slime. So got some little guys here, little coons, raccoons. Oh gosh, yeah. It's a really interesting creek, the way that they, I mean, like I said, the whole thing is built, and inside of the creek are burnt, charred pieces of cedar, which are probably pieces of the old village. At some point it washed in here, you know, and this whole creek may have been covered up at one point and then resurfaced, but you guys can see how the stratigraphy is done here, how it's all char and burnt. All this is carbon datable. If as a private citizen I was able to get anything carbon dated in the United States, I would. But there's a lot back there, but it does get kind of gnar. So let's go ahead and just walk back this way, and we'll go ahead and just look at some large ones if we can find some good ones. on the way back. You know, I don't bother looking for spirit points and stuff, but there are plenty here. You can find the floating usually on the top. These are the areas where you'll find them. But I don't need any more spirit points. I found the paleo point that is non-existent on anybody's websites, I mean the archaeological websites. It predates all that stuff. It's 10,000, 11, 12,000 years old. It's like paleo Indian stuff. So there goes my element of surprise here. But these are some really just basic birds, you know. And oftentimes they have very basic faces on them. This one has a lot of eggs on it. But I'm not going to try to disturb the eggs. My frog eggs. Here's some cool ones here. Little swords. What's this? Oh my goodness. So this is kind of what I mean by like the big nose, big chin variant fellas. This is kind of what they look like, and looks like he's got maybe a mammoth or something else on the left-hand side. It's just another face. But this kind of guy here, it's almost the hominid fella here. You guys can see. And then, of course, the jawline for another image on the left-hand side. And this one has one that when you tilt it, you see the both eyes, the nose, and the mouth. It's not very often that you get that, but every now and then you get these faces that are just poking right at you with the hair. It's very interesting. All right. And now everything down from the very bottom here, there's a little silhouette at the very, very bottom here. You guys can see it with the eye carving. And they make it very detailed so that you know it's, so that you knew it was for real. And all the way up and all the way up. And that's the way these work. And that's why it looks all rough. And it's actually a language, guys. It's a language in the rocks. And what's scary about it is that there's so many. Like, there's so many. So that means basically that we're not shit. We're nothing. We're a speck in the wind. Just like all these other people who, every single person could make this art. And they were all super smart, super intelligent. And they couldn't freaking make it out. I don't know. I'm not trying to be nihilistic. I'm just trying to be funny. But there's a whole lot here to check out, guys. But we're going on 20 minutes. And I had a really good time. But, you know, I like to spend a little bit of time out here myself. So I'm going to go and check out some other spots. And if I see anything good, I'll let you know. And until then, have a great day. Bye-bye.